In eukaryotes, the process of transcription is basically the same as that in prokaryotes. That is, it also comprises of initiation, elongation, and termination. However, the process of initiation and termination in case of eukaryotic cell is quite complex when compared to that in the prokaryotes. The elongation step, it is the same. That is formation of polynucleotide sequence by the addition of ribonucleotides with the help of enzyme RNA polymerase. However, in case of eukaryotes, different types of RNAs, they are formed with the help of different types of polymerase, that is RNA polymerase first, second, third. So majority of the genes, they transcribe for the messenger RNA. So in this video we will be talking basically of the RNA polymerase second and type. So if we just go through the structure of the eukaryotic gene, in case of eukaryotic gene, the polycystron of a prokaryote is replaced by a split gene or the interrupted gene, wherein exons as well as introns, they are present, because this transcription is taking place within the nucleus, and the mature messenger RNA, that will be carried out to the cytoplasm. So within the nucleus, the gene is there, the interrupted gene is there with its own regulatory region. And for its transcription too, we need the RNA polymerase, which will bind upstream to the start point, initiation point of initiation, and then that it will carry out the process of polymerization of ribonucleotides. So in this video we are going to talk about how this initiation of transcription takes place. That is, how this RNA polymerase is able to bind itself to the promoter region and then move ahead and carry on the second process of transcription, that is the elongation. So here the RNA polymerase, it binds to the promoter region. The Tata box is here in the promoter region, as was there in the prokaryotic regulatory sequences, and this thymine adenine rich region in the nucleotide sequence, it is recruited, or the correct protein it selects to which Tata box or which Tata nucleotide sequence will this RNA polymerase bind. That is, it selects depending on the signal that it gets, it selects the gene that is to be transcribed. So in case of prokaryotes, the sigma factor, it was the transcription factor which selected or which binds itself to the appropriate Tata region of the appropriate gene and then helps the RNA polymerase to bind to it. That was the case in transcription initiation in prokaryotes. But in case of eukaryotes, there are many transcription factors. There are many proteins which help in binding of this RNA polymerase to this promoter sequence. So we will deal with all these proteins and see how sequentially they bind to the promoter and help the binding of RNA polymerase second. So first of all, on this Tata region or Tata box in the DNA present in the promoter site, which is upstream before this, towards the 3' end of this start point. So first of all, a protein known as the transcription factor second D, TF second D, it binds to the Tata box. Now this particular protein, it has got two domains, the Tata binding protein and the Tata binding protein associate factor. So with the help of these regions of its proteinaceous complex, proteinaceous molecule, this TF2D, it recognizes the Tata box of the gene that is to be transcribed and binds itself over here. Now when it binds itself over here, first thing is that it opens up the chromatin. That is, we know that in eukaryotes, the DNA has got associated histone proteins with it. So it has to expose the DNA sequence, the nucleotide sequence. It has to remove the histone proteins from these particular regions so that the RNA polymerase may bind with this site. So it selects the particular histone acetyltransferase enzyme, and this leads to the opening up of the chromatin, that is, the DNA is exposed. And when this DNA is exposed, this Tata binding protein, it specifically interacts with the minor groove of the DNA double helical structure, and because of its interaction with the minor groove, a bend is generated in the DNA molecule promoter region of the gene that is to be transcribed. That is, a bend is introduced. This is the linear DNA molecule, and when this Tata binding protein, it associates with the minor groove of this, it will create a bend. Now, one thing we should always remember is that this Tata binding proteins, they are of universal occurrence. They are required for the transcription initiation in all type of eukaryotic promoters, whether they have the particular Tata box or they don't have, whether they are the promoter regions for the messenger RNA or the transfer RNA or the ribosomal RNA. That means RNA polymerase first, second or third, whichever RNA polymerase is to associate, bind itself to the DNA sequence, it requires the Tata binding protein. So the first step is binding of this TF2D with the Tata box. Now once this TF2D binds with this Tata box, two other protein factors, the transcription factors A and B, they come and associate with this Tata transcription factor D, second D. And this complex formed, it selects the specific RNA polymerase that should bind to this promoter region. Now, although the specific RNA polymerase is recruited, but it needs an escort. It needs someone to bring it to this complex formed by the Tata transcription factor D, A and B. So this escort is another transcription factor, that is TF second F, transcription factor F of RNA polymerase second. It binds to this specific recruited RNA polymerase and brings it to this complex. and now it forms the complex with the existing transcription factors. It attaches with the uh, transcription factors which are present on the data box. After this point, two other transcription factors, two other proteins, that is transcription factor E and transcription factor H, they also come and bind to this complex that is being formed. The transcription factor E, it recruits the particular transcription factor H, and now this pre-initiation complex is formed. Once both these transcription factors, they also come and bind to this complex. Of these two transcription factors, the function of E is to select and bring forward this particular transcription factor second H, and this transcription factor second H, it has got two major activities. First, it has got the kinase activity, and we know that when we say kinase, that means phosphorylation using an ATP molecule is involved. Apart from that, it also has the helicase activity, because the first step for the initiation of transcription is the availability of single-stranded DNA. That is, the DNA duplex, it has to melt. The hydrogen bonds that joins together the two strands of the DNA molecule, they have to open up, and that is possible with the help of helicase enzyme, because it opens the helix of the DNA, it forms the transcription bubble. So it is this transcription factor H which has got the kinase and the helicase activity, and it helps this RNA polymerase to move ahead. We say to escape from this promoter region and start transcription. But this activation, that means escape from the promoter region, it requires some other proteins also, some regulatory proteins known as the activators and repressors. So once all these transcription factors they are in place, that is even after the formation of the pre-initiation complex, it requires some signal from some other proteins that we will talk about shortly. And if it gets the signal of moving ahead, the transcription factor H, it phosphorylates the RNA polymerase second. It it adds the phosphate group using the ATP molecule at the C-terminal domain of RNA polymerase second. This is known as the CTT, that is the C-terminal domain. And once this RNA polymerase is phosphorylated, that is, it is activated, it moves ahead, forming the transcription bubble and uh, carrying out the elongation in the 5' to 3' direction. That is, it causes the polymerization of ribonucleotides down this DNA template. So just now we have said that even after the pre-initiation complex is in place, it needs certain signal. Now this signal is that whether the gene is to be transcribed or not, or it may be at what rate, that is the amount of transcription that is to take place. So that is regulated by two types of proteins known as the activators and the repressors. Now these activators and repressors, they regulate the initiation of transcription in case of prokaryotes. These activators and repressors, they bind themselves on the DNA molecule. They at some point that may be very far away from the promoter region. That is, they are the distal control elements. Normally they are upstream, but they may even be present downstream. Upstream and downstream means towards the 3' uh, end from the start point, that is upstream, and or towards the 5' end from the start point, that is the downstream point. So these activators and repressors, they bind to specific DNA sequences, nucleotide sequences present in the DNA molecule. These sequences, they are known as the enhancers or the silencers. And then after they come in contact with the pre-initiation complex and regulates the initiation of this transcription. And this DNA molecule, it binds over with the help of particular DNA binding proteins so that these distal control elements, they may come in contact with the pre-initiation complex that has organized, that has formed on the promoter region of a particular gene. So if these activators, they come in contact with our pre-initiation complex, RNA polymerase, it will move ahead and transcription will take place. However, if repressors, which bind themselves to the silencers, they come in contact with this pre-initiation complex, the RNA polymerase won't leave this promoter site, and hence, despite of the presence of this pre-initiation complex, no transcription will take place until and unless this repressor is in contact with this pre-initiation complex, and RNA transcription won't take place. Now, if we talk of these two processes of gene regulation, uh, regulation of transcription initiation one by one, first we'll deal with the repressor part. Repressor proteins, they are formed anywhere in the genome, and then they come and they bind to specific nucleotide sequences known as the silencer sequences. So repressor is a protein which has got two domains. One domain which binds to the nucleotide sequence, to the DNA molecule, and the other domain which binds to the RNA polymerase. This binding may be direct or it may involve some other proteins known as the co-repressors. So when this repressor, it comes in contact with the RNA polymerase, it may have two effects on it. That is, it may repress the process of transcription by two means. First, it can alter the shape of the RNA polymerase protein, and because of the change in the basic shape, its enzymatic activity is affected and transcription won't take place. Either it will separate from the this pre-initiation complex, or it won't be able to move ahead. The second effect that it may have is it may prevent the melting of DNA molecule at the promoter region. That is, until and unless this repressor is in contact with this pre-initiation complex, the two strands of the DNA, they won't separate from each other. The hydrogen bonds in the Tata region, they won't break, as a result of which template won't be available and transcription won't take place, since there won't be any formation of any open complex. Open complex where single stranded DNA is available for transcription. And if single stranded DNA is not present for transcription, we call it a closed complex. So in this way, repressors, they bind to the silencer sequences and repress the process of transcription initiation in eukaryotes. However, if the second group of proteins, that is activators, these activators, they bind to specific DNA sequences, that is the enhancers, and then they come in contact with the pre-initiation complex. Again, for this purpose also, bending of DNA molecule takes place, and they may come in contact with the pre-initiation complex. Now, there are two methods how these activator proteins, they may influence the process of initiation of transcription in eukaryotes. First is they may affect the recruitment of various components of the pre-initiation complex. So this type of activation by activators is known as the recruitment activation, because particular proteins, particular transcription factors, they have to be recruited within the nucleus. They have to reach the specific Tata box, and they have to bind to it sequentially to form the pre-initiation complex. So this step may be affected by activators. The other method of activation is allosteric activation. Allosteric activation, when we talk of, that means it is binding to some other region and it is uh, regulating the activity of the particular protein, that is the RNA polymerase. So these activator proteins, they bind to this pre-initiation complex directly or via mediators, and they affect the initiation of transcription. The modus how these activator proteins, they activate the initiation of transcription, it is exactly the reverse of what happens with the repressor. Here, either they may alter the structure of polymerase so that the promoter escape is accelerated, or they may enhance the transition of the closed complex to form the open complex. That is, they accelerates the opening up of the DNA double helix of the formation of the transcription bubble. and in this manner they increase the transcription rate or the rate of initiation of transcription in case of eukaryotes. Now these activator molecules, like the repressor molecules, they may either directly bind to the RNA polymerase, or these activator molecules, they may bind to this pre-initiation complex via some mediator protein. And the third condition may be that these activators, they do not bind to the mediator directly. Instead, they require some third category of proteins known as the co-activators. So the presence of mediators and co-activators or the co-repressors for binding these regulatory proteins to the pre-initiation complex, it basically it has got uh, effect it affects the rate of initiation of this transcription, because even if these activators and repressors they are not present, transcription may take place but at the basal rate. And then depending upon the presence of these activator and repressor, sorry, the what we may call the regulatory proteins, the rate of transcription may slow down if repressor and co-repressors they are involved, or they may accelerate if activators and co-activators they are involved in the process. So in this manner we have seen that the initiation of transcription in eukaryotes is basically under the control of a range of protein molecules in the form of transcription factors and the activators and the enhancers, the activators and the repressors. After this, once the RNA polymerase it escapes the promoter or the Tata box region, the polymerization step takes place, elongation, similarly as it was in prokaryotes. But again, in case of termination, certain different processes they are involved in eukaryotes when compared to that in prokaryotes. So in our next video, we will be talking about termination of transcription in eukaryotes.